I tread a path unexplored. The world trembles beneath my feet. Embrace true power. force unseen uncover my path.
Thank you for responding to my request, Rogue Trader. I'm here on the orders of Marshal Strax to ask for your help. We are in pursuit of a tithe thief. We must board the thief's ship, execute the heretic for his crimes, and return the sacred tribute to the protection of the Adeptus Arbites. The reward for your assistance in this matter will be the thief's frigate, the Heartless, which we will capture in the course of the mission. You saved my squad from a dying world, and you also agreed to meet with me. Both facts have emboldened me to beg, as you put it. I did, and I was rebuffed. As Rogue Trader Winterscale rightly pointed out, from the moment of the tithe's collection, responsibility for it transfers to the Adeptus Arbites. He also noted that the loss of a world is not an inconsiderable detriment to his protectorate, and he has no intention of expending resources to recover something that no longer belongs to him. Under similar circumstances in the past, our arrangement would have obliged us to turn to Lady Theodora. She was a key figure in supporting the Lex Imperialis in the Coronis Expanse. The ship was not lost, it was stolen. If breaking the law were an impossibility, there would be no Adeptus Arbites. In the Calixis sector, our forces would have caught up with that heretic by now and brought him to justice, but the arbitrators here do not have such resources. However, we can still requisition vessels, but there is no ship on footfall with augurs powerful enough to track down the heretic. Your flagship, on the other hand, boasts advanced technology and impressive firepower. I assure you, if there were a suitable vessel at the docks, I would not be troubling you with this matter. Captain Sargona and his flagship, the Heartless, are concealed in Mundus Nullius. The exact location can only be determined with your ship's augurs when we enter the system. The Heartless is escorted by a small flotilla. You'll need to neutralize it in order to capture the frigate. Our BT strike teams will land on the upper deck, while your boarding party handles the remaining bays. My squad of arbitrators will take on the most difficult and dangerous part of the operation. The ultimate goal is to capture the captain's bridge and interrogate and execute Sargona. The Heartless is the enemy flagship. It has been corrupted with inhuman technology, but you have the necessary resources to purge it of Xenos filth and make it serve the Imperium once more. Even if you don't wish to own a ship previously crewed by pirates, you will have prospective buyers lining up to take it off your hands. I'm no expert on ships, but when I questioned the captains on footfall about the Heartless, they were almost salivating as they listed its virtues.
We'll take it. We are taking it, aren't we, Sherry? It's a whole extra flagship and practically for free.
What I am offering is the coordinates of your future trophy and a team of arbitrators to help you take the vessel. You will be enriched, and you will be continuing the alliance formed by Lady Theodora with the Adeptus Arbites. It is for you to judge the value of this opportunity. Stein, transfer the latest data. Bryce, hologram. This one has the complete file. He is a former privateer and a fugitive psyker. At one time, he was involved in the coal trade and the supply of Xenos mercenaries, but his pirate habits got the better of him, and he started robbing his associates. Now, even among the criminal rabble, he is known as a nasty piece of work. Something of an achievement, you will agree. Sargona is cunning, cruel, and unpredictable. Shortly after the fall of Rakad Manoris, I questioned the Liege of Footfall. He supplied me with exhaustive information about Sargona and his ship, and gave the arbitrators full access to the docks. I suspect Takara's compliance stems from some bad blood between him and Sargona. Scum-eating scum. Nothing new there. As you wish. The task is relatively simple. Kill all enemies we encounter, and not let them kill us. Sargona must be taken alive for questioning, but I and my team will handle that. There is one other thing. The following call signs will be used for Vox communication during the mission. You will be RT-1, and I will be DX-1. I also request you use RBT sign language throughout. Non-verbal commands are faster than speaking and will allow us to catch our target unawares. Here is a short list. DX-1 means I am in command of the Delta Xi Squad. It's one of our standard designations for strike teams in the Expanse. RT-1 is you, the rogue trader and leader of the Rho Theta Squad. For a short mission like this one, these identifiers should suffice. Good. Do you have any further questions? No. I'm still on mission, and in your absence, my subordinates and I will be checking weapons and finalizing tactics for the assault. In other words, we will be wholly occupied with preparations. Acknowledged. Sargona is already dead. He just doesn't know it yet.
Intriguing.
Words cannot describe. Jai is like a gem. The brighter people shine around her, the clearer her faces reflect a myriad of colorful gleams. They are all parts of Jai, but no single one of them is her. I cannot discern her true colors through the veil of her motley shawls. I peel off hue after hue, only to find a different color underneath every time. I haven't...
To what do I owe this visit? The cult's ordinary members are humans who have been corrupted by the archenemy, traitors to the Imperium, and accomplices of chaos. Participation in the cult's rituals always entails brainwashing, literally and figuratively. The longer cult members spend among other cultists, the less critically they think, and the more closely they resemble obedient livestock, stripped of their fear and instinct for self-preservation. The worst of them go to their deaths without an inkling of doubt, ready to take hundreds and thousands of souls with them. As for those at the top of the cult's hierarchy, we have not yet managed to get a lead on all of the cult's leaders. I imagine that some of them are hiding in the depths of the Coronis Expanse, but those who are orchestrating the fanatics on nearby worlds are hiding very well indeed, or receiving protection from above. I need to confirm the reports from my agents. According to them, one of the cult's leaders is in the Kiava Gamma segment, an industrial world within the dominion of the Von Phalantius dynasty. I hope you won't impede my investigation. Governors, commanders, rogue traders. History is full of those who neglect their duty to the Golden Throne and seek allies in the wrong places. We discovered the first traces of it as soon as we arrived in the Coronis Expanse. Since then, the more we learn, the better we see just how far the roots of this blight extend. Destroying individual cells is pointless. We must cut this beast off at its head. As you wish. Yes, but not here. I wouldn't want our conversation to be gossip fodder on the bridge and in the officers' mess. To what do I owe this visit? To what do I owe this visit? So long as Lord Inquisitor Calcazar's decree remains in force, I am obliged to escort the rogue trader of House von Phalantius and provide all possible assistance and support. I am afraid I cannot comply with your request.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Shireen. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Shireen. I will watch your back if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted? No truer words have ever been said. I'm far more exciting than some small-time peddlers from Footfall. Allow me to introduce myself properly. I am Jai Amira Fatqin Tamiri Ash Ifrit, the 12th daughter of the Lord of Ifrit, a distant world at the fringes of the Imperium. The youngest child is destined to become a bargaining chip in the family's political games. But I was unwilling to accept such a fate, and wanted to choose what to become and which path to follow. When I learned the Exalted One watches over hundreds of other worlds amidst distant stars, I understood there was an entire world of opportunities beyond Ifrit. All I had to do was break the familial bonds tying me down and escape the planet. Which I did a long time ago. The Keronis Expanse. A gorgeous name, isn't it? But this backwater wasn't my original destination when I escaped, Shireen. Oh no, it was the rumors of incredible freedom that brought me to the Keronis Expanse. Freedom that is generously bestowed upon everyone who can survive in these parts. All doors are open here. You can become a saint, a mogul, a kingmaker, or anyone you like, really. Here, hard work pays off. Unless you're used to lying by the roadside and complaining instead of toiling for the good of your soul, glory, wallet, or whatever floats your boat. I'm used to working hard, and so I found my blessing. I convinced my father I personally wished to oversee the inspection of imported goods. I had to get experience so I wouldn't bring shame on our family, didn't I? I made friends with traders, missionaries, and soldiers at the port. I listened to their stories, studied the charts, learned what documents I had to forge to escape the planet. A kind word here, a shiny coin there. And here I am, in the iron belly of a ship, braving the void in search of a new life. Consider it a mark of my trade. This year, Xenos. Dumb-headed orcs. Who knew that we weren't the only ones to get tempted by the wreck of that raider? As for this treasure, I received it as a reward for a life that had been just a little too good. I was in a hurry to get to the Adeptus Amasacus after the Exalted One blessed me with immense wealth. I was 2 backstreets away from the den when a pathetic ashmag attacked me, envious of somebody else's fortune. I learned my lesson and started taking the longer way around. Except I haven't had any big windfalls since. All relationships are based on mutual trust. That goes for business too. The youngest child is destined. The dark side is the real Coronis Expanse, if you ask me. But what do you want to know about it, Shireen? Dynasty heirs drink with criminals. Rogue traders strike deals with the Casbalica, and dozens of ships stop off for a welcome break from a long voyage. Is there a more beautiful place in the entire Imperium? The Emperor is merciful to the meek and the powerful alike. There's a job for everyone as long as they have a head on their shoulders. And if you feel like talking to him in person, the statue of the Exalted One can be seen from any asteroid. You can pray to your heart's content. An ancient crime cartel that originated with the first settlers of the Calixis sector. It is run by shadowy clans with robber barons at the helm. Cross their path, and you risk making enemies all over the Coronis Expanse, or even the entire Imperium. As for the agents, they are just shameless, greedy scum. Every third person on Footfall is a Casbalican, but that doesn't mean all that rotten filth is acting together. I've been set up more than once just so some Casbalican can get one over on his rivals. And yet, the Casbalica is generous to its customers, if you can afford it. Anything can be obtained, organized, and transported for the right price. The customer is always right, unless they happen to be a rat. In which case... Forgive me, Shireen. I'm not too fond of the ones I am forced to share the market with. Especially since they are nowhere near as good as me. What gave you such an outrageous idea? Was it my immaculate garment? My gorgeous jewelry? Do not worry, Shireen. I will let you know once I become a baroness, should the Exalted One will it. Just imagine the strong and fruitful alliance that could be forged between a rogue trader and the mastermind of the Casbalica. It's not hard to do on Footfall. I spent a year working for good old Christo. He was a brave soldier who gave up the ghost in a scuffle with orcs, and then took over his business. Having a good head on your shoulders and keeping the Exalted One in your heart helps to establish new contacts quickly. Eventually, I gathered together a group of honest and loyal people, and it only took a few successful contracts for the Casbalica to take notice. I quickly settled on Footfall and started dispensing my wisdom to my protégés and subordinates. I lost the taste for getting my hands dirty. It really is simple, Shireen. The Casbalica runs the Imperium's black market, offering special goods to those who can afford their services. Yes, I am talking about Xeno artifacts too. Alien weapons, technology, sometimes even certain kinds of living creatures. Unlike the rogue traders whose sacred warrants make them immune even from the laws of the Exalted One, Casbalican agents are used to hiding and covering their tracks. Nobody wants to draw unwanted attention, no matter who might take an interest. Especially now that the Coronis Expanse has a warrior of the Golden Throne as its watchman. Why not? The decision is yours, Shireen. My trade means knowing the right people and non-people. Having the right connections and making sure the precious goods find their way into the hands of my no less precious customers. My wisdom includes the knowledge of the enemies of humankind, be they Xenos or the lowest scum in the Imperium, as well as the latest knowledge about how much they charge for any particular curio at the footfall market. Not even the most cunning Aji will deceive you as long as I am with you, Shireen. I promise you that. Whatever I have can be yours too, if your unfathomable wealth isn't enough for you already, I mean. It has been known to happen. After years of dealing with Xenos, I've learned their customs, and even got a grasp of their language. Except they cringe whenever I start speaking. Arrogant sods. They dislike even our voices, but they never turn away our valuables. Then again, I'm used to seeing sour faces. In this trade, the easily offended go out of business. Emperor be praised! You took the words right out of my mouth! Thank you, Shireen. Being able to read and write is chief among them. You may not be aware, but this science is beyond the abilities of billions of the Imperium subjects. And yet they happily keep drudging along in their factories, fundi, and assembly lines. Me? I didn't escape Ifrit to consign myself to such misery. It was literacy that paved my path to copied orders, forged signatures, counterfeited papers. The wonderful things that make the wheels of bureaucracy turn in the right direction. Compared to the rabble on footfall, perhaps. Compared to you. Be it power or money, I still have a long way to go. I could purchase one of Footfall's asteroids, but not a planet. I could subjugate a few gangs from the shady districts, but not Vladium. And so the answer to your question is no. I do not consider myself rich. I am not rich enough. You're fun to talk. I grew tired of scribing endless contracts and agreements neatly tucked away on Footfall. Well, I did that for how many years? But here, among the stars, you are always balanced on a knife edge. Nothing thrills me more than the tension of a warp jump, or the danger that lurks around every corner on a planet. Footfall was beginning to make me fat and stupid, Shireen. I do not want that. I am counting on life in your retinue being more exciting than sitting behind a desk in my office. Do I trust the trickster twins? By the Exalted One, no. The underhanded rogues of Footfall came up with that name for a reason. The tricks of those frenzied ashmags are all about things far more intriguing than the honest and law-abiding subjects of the Imperium can imagine. On the other hand, this is why I am keeping them close. Kor and Tora know who lifted them out of the cesspit proudly called the Shadow Quarters, and who has been feeding that ravenous beast their insatiable lust for lucre. No, they are not going to betray me if only because they know I am now a part of your entourage, Shireen. They're not going to let the biggest pie in the Imperium pass them by without trying to get a slice for themselves. Vicious, cruel, dangerous beasts. Humans hold little interest for Xenos. We are entertainment for them, a means to keep boredom at bay. A commodity. But some of them contact us once in a while using their own people. Do not deceive yourself by thinking you are safe because there are no Xenos inside. Those Aji are as cunning as they are ruthless. They cleverly pull at the strings of spies and traitors, subjugate those who do not fall for the promised reward, transform the ones who resist their promises into soulless puppets. The Emperor watches over me, and that is why I still haven't succumbed to the fate of many of my associates who have lost their lives to the stringy scoundrels. I think we've said all there is to say on this topic. It is difficult not to be aware of the powers that be, especially ones like Lord Captain Theodora. But we never met personally, as the difference between our positions was far too great. Theodora was a mighty ruler, the center of her own universe, and I pathetic speck was nothing next to her. But you were kind to me, Shireen, and in my eyes, that puts you above your esteemed aunt, or whoever she was to you. The language on Ifrit, my home world, is quite different from the one spoken in the Keronis expanse. We bestow more than one meaning upon each word, allowing our wise men to fully express their sagacious thoughts, and us lowly dabblers, our base passions and desires. Take Aji, for example. That is what I call every piece of scum and villain, because Aji means evil and foe and pathetic worm unworthy of consideration. Or take Ashmak. It means fool and little brother and blind man who stumbled and would fall into a pit without guidance. Shireen means friend and comrade and roommate in a battle formation, like we are. Or lucky lady, you mean? My heart has been coveted by proud men with hard eyes, gentle maidens with sensual voices, imperious lords and fierce leaders of void brigands. Only rogue traders have not yet featured among Jai Hedari's intimate friends. Why do you ask, Shireen? You are prying at the treasures of my soul, my little secrets. How else can I keep them safe from such a powerful robber as the rogue trader? I dare not refuse you. Oh, Shireen. Then what reason do I have to tell you the truth? Every mystery once solved ceases to excite the interest of an inquiring mind. Oh, you ruthless, cruel creature. Would you really kill a person purely out of jealousy? Or 2 or 3 people? Rogue traders are a fearsome breed. My heart trembles to witness it. How fortunate then that you will not have to spill the blood of any lovesick innocent, for none has any rightful claim on me. They all languish in their passion at a respectful distance, mourning and cursing their cruel fate. If you are not simply amusing yourself by toying with my feelings, then why not give it a try? Go on. Or wait, you haven't yet asked how I feel about being your romantic partner. Ask soon, Shireen. I simply cannot reject so ardent an admirer. To insult such sincere passion would be a wicked act in the eyes of the Exalted One. Savor the anticipation, Shireen. Wait, and do not lose confidence. But if the feelings in your soul have become a fire that is burning you up from within, then you may express them by bestowing a gift upon your humble servant. Oh, Shireen, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone.